U.S. History 1302, Section 410. I am your professor, Brandon Franke. We're going to go over the syllabus real quick. This class will meet every Tuesday and Thursday, 10:35 to 11:50 a.m. Contact information, you can see my email address there, my office number, my phone number, my website. My office hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon in academic 215. Tuesday and Thursday, it's 1 to 3 p.m. in academic 215. This is a survey of United States history from 1877 to the present. The course covers industrial, social, and political problems from 1877 to the emergence of the United States as a world power in the 20th century. Material presented covers a wide variety of topics, including the Gilded Age, the Progressive Period, World War I, the Depression and the New Deal, World War II, the Cold War, and contemporary events. In order to be in this class, you must be able to meet those requisites right there. And if you're already registered for this course, you already have. So that's not a problem. Core curriculum course. This is part of the 42-hour core curriculum at Blinn College. Such students will develop proficiency in the appropriate intellectual competencies, exemplary educational objectives, and perspectives. Outcomes for this semester is that upon successful completion of this semester, you will be able to create an argument through the use of historical evidence. You'll be able to analyze and interpret the difference between primary and secondary sources. You'll be able to analyze the effects of historical, social, political, economic, cultural, and global forces on this period of United States history. For this class, you need 3 books. America, Narrative History, Volume 2. Does anybody have that with them here today? Just hold it up, please. Okay, there it is. Readings in United States History, Volume 2 by Watson, Wright, and Brett. It's the 6th edition. And you need Ronald Reagan and the Triumph of American Conservatism. And that is by Tygill. I can't remember his first name, but anyway. There's only one book by that name. You can get these at the bookstore. You can also check half-price books, especially for the Ronald Reagan book. We've been using that for quite a while, and there should be several copies there. All these books are also on reserve in the library, so you can look at them there if you need to. Now, those of you that had me last semester, we're doing something different this time. We are going to have, instead of 3 exams like you had last semester, you're going to have 5 exams, which means you're going to have less material on each one of the exams. Close your mouth, Ed. And you, instead of, I think the most you have is 4 chapters on an exam. Last semester, I think one had 6. That's just too much information. And what you are going to do is you are going to take the exams at your own time online. Right? In order to do this, you need to have a webcam or access to a webcam so you can record yourself taking the exam. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about that because there's some software that you have to download. Now, if you plan on taking the test here at Blinn, all the computers have this technology already installed on the computers, and most of them have webcams, so you'll be able to do it that way. Okay? So, we'll talk more about that as we get a little bit further. Course requirements. Exams, there will be 5 total exams. The first 4 will be over new material from the readings and presented in class. And the final exam will be the 5th and will be comprehensive. Quizzes. Students will complete 17 quizzes over individual chapters from the Tyndall and Shee book. And essays. This is something different also from last semester. Students will write 3 essays of at least 300 words, reviewing articles assigned to the Brooke et al. Reader. Last semester, we did them on the exams. This semester, they will be done on your own time. Okay, we'll talk about that. Same format that we did last week. Evaluation, breakdown. The top 3 exams, excluding the final, will count for half of your final grade. The average of the 3 essays, the quizzes, and the final exam will provide the final half, with each being equally weighted at a third. 600-point scale. A grade of an A, you need to make between a 600 to a 540. A B is 539 to 480. A C is 479 to 420. A D is 419 to 360. F is 359 to 0. Now, students always say, well, how do we know our averages? Divide by 6. Okay? 600, 6 assignments, divide by 6. There you have it. Now, also you will note that when you do it that way, after the first exam, you are failing. Yes, you are. That's why I do the point system. Every time when I was in college and I made an A on the first exam, I was like, woohoo! I've got an A. Second exam comes and I make an A on it, woohoo! I've got an A. I'm an A student. There's 6 assignments in that class and I've made 90s on both of them. That means I have 180. You know what happened on the third assignment? I would goof off. I got an A. I'm an A student. I don't have to worry about that. What would happen? Make 70 on it. What am I now? 80, 250. What is that so far at the point? I'm still failing. Okay? When you do averages, you are taught, and you take 2 items, you divide by 2, 2 complete assignments, you divide by 2, and what do you have? An average. Well, that's not how grades work. It's you divide by the total amount. Okay? I'm setting the bar high for you so you will realize what you have to get to. Alright? I'm trying to incentivize you to continue to work hard to get the best grade possible. Glenn College policies. This little section right here tells you where you can find everything. Well, let's look at the first one. Civility statement. Members of the Glenn College community, which includes faculty, staff, and students, are expected to act honestly and responsibly in all aspects of campus life. Glenn College holds all members accountable for their actions and words. Therefore, all members should commit themselves to behave in a manner that recognizes personal respect and demonstrates concern for the personal dignity, rights, and freedoms of every member of the college community, including respect for college property as the physical and intellectual property of others. Civility notification statement. If a student is asked to leave the classroom because of uncivil behavior, the student may not return to that class until he or she arranges a conference with the instructor. It is the student's responsibility to arrange for this conference. Okay. This is not something I have a problem with. I don't know why some people do have issues. It's been my experience that in many of the cases in which the civility statement has been enforced, it deals with some of the more Neanderthal men who perhaps never had a woman in authority over them, and a woman is their professor, and they think they can just run all over her. Obviously, that's not going to be the case in this class. I will treat you with respect, and you will treat me with respect. That's how it is. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's something that our society has lost. It is possible to talk about things that offend you without you getting offended. That is different than being uncivil. All right? We're going to talk about a lot of offensive things in class. This is History 1302. We're going to talk about things like what? Civil rights. We're going to talk about African Americans not being treated equally. We're going to talk about Hispanics not being treated equally. We're going to talk about the fact that up until the late 1800s, certain types of people were not considered desirable to come to the United States. And these are all things that we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about them openly and honestly. If it offends you, great. I want to offend you in class. Because if I offend you, that means that you have a deeply felt belief system that I have run against. And if that is the case, I will be exceptionally happy. If you escape my class without me ever offending you, hopefully you will take that as an opportunity to examine your belief structure. Because obviously if you can't be offended, something is wrong with you. Okay? Doesn't mean I'm going to go out of my way to offend you, but I am going to say things that make you think. Like I will tell you right now, I believe the 19th Amendment to the Constitution is the worst amendment to the Constitution, ratified in 1920. Who agrees with me? No hands go up? Amanda, what is the 19th Amendment to the Constitution?
19th Amendment? Well, it is...
There's a reason I asked you specifically. Gives women the right to vote.
Oh, yeah.
Women should not have the right to vote. They should not have the right to vote because they can't make any decent decisions.
Why?
I'm joking. See, look what I did. Did I make her? What? See, I'm against women's suffrage. Okay, I'm against women's suffrage. They should not suffrage. Do you agree? Women should not suffrage? Do you agree?
Suffrage, like suffer?
Suffrage. They should not suffrage.
Got a lot of words for a guy that's surrounded by a bunch of women.
I'm all right. Do you agree?
Wait, explain what suffrage is.
No, that's what it is.
I don't agree.
Oh,
I don't agree.
It means the woman has a right to vote.
Yes.
Okay. All right. When I was in grad school, I had this girl write me this paper on black suffrage, and that it was terrible and it should be stopped. We should stop it immediately. Blacks should stop suffraging. And I was like, come see me. We didn't talk about it. She came to me and came into my office, and African American girl, I said, I don't think you understand. She goes, oh yes, sir, I do. I do understand what this means. You don't know what it's like to suffrage. I said, no, this means to vote, the right to vote. Oh my gosh, no, I don't mean that. Okay, so it's important that we understand the words. All right. There was don't know if you saw this yesterday. I think it was on. I saw it on Facebook. California, in order to assist military men and women in getting houses, are looking to repeal the Third Amendment to the Constitution. They have received enough signatures to try a petition to repeal the Third Amendment to the Constitution, to allow military men and women to be able to get houses. Okay? Who had History 1301 last semester? Every single person in here should know what the Third Amendment does. What does the Third Amendment do? It's the Quartering Act. The government cannot put soldiers in your home during a time of war a time of peace without what? Without Congress saying so. These people were signing their name to something that they had no clue what they were signing on. All right? Words are important. Okay? We don't want people to suffer, but we do want women to suffrage. Okay? All right. So civility sake, it's not going to be a problem. Attendance policy. Basically, you can be absent the equivalent of 2 weeks in this class. But on that fourth absence, you can be dropped for not showing. All right? Now, there are excused absences. 4 of them include being gone for the observance of religious holy day, which means you need to tell me fairly soon, because I think Ramadan is coming up very, very quickly. Representing the college district at an official institutional function. If you're a high school dual credit student representing your school for an official function, or military service. Those are just 4 of them. There are others as well. Last semester I had a student that came to me and said, I've got to be gone on this day. I said, why? I said, well, I have been summoned to appear in district court in Austin. I have to be there. That's a pretty good excuse. Okay? Is it covered under this? It's not one of the 4 official ones, but I'm going to let the guy off and let him go to that class. Why? I'm going to go to court. Because if you miss my class, am I going to show up at your house with a gun and a badge and force you to come with me in handcuffs? No. If you miss a court date, will a cop show up and with a gun and a badge? And yes. Okay. there's exceptions to this. All right? Who in here has gotten their flu shot? Has everybody gotten their flu shot? You better darn well go get your flu shot because this H1N1, it's targeting you guys. Now, usually it targets old people like me. You're supposed to laugh. I'm not old. But it's attacking young, healthy teenage, early 20s. They've already been in Conroe. There's already been like 5 deaths. So you need to go get it. All right? Go to Walgreens and get shot. Seriously. Get your shot. Will be the first time you get shot. So, if you choose to stop coming, it is your responsibility to drop the class. Okay? Because what happens is sometimes a student will miss 3 absences. Okay? 3 times, and we're like 1 day left in the semester. They'll miss that 4th class, and I'll be like, I don't know if they're going to show up before the final. So I won't drop them. But you've decided you're not going to come anymore. Here's the problem. Once the finals hit, you don't get a Q anymore. You get a letter grade. And that letter grade is probably going to be an F. And you don't want an F. How many guys are transferring to A&M or want to transfer to A&M? A&M does not look at your GPA. Do you know that? They look at your GPR, grade point ratio. They factor in dropped classes as well. Okay? You do not want to drop a class, and you do not want to get an F in a class. Because if you get an F in a class, and you take that class again, the hours still count against you in your GPR. You don't want that. Attendance policy, scholastic integrity. Glenn College does not tolerate cheating, plagiarism, or any other act of dishonesty with regard to the course in which you are enrolled. The following text defines the faculty member's responsibility. Basically, there are 3 things that you can do that are unacceptable. Plagiarism, cheating, and collusion. Okay, what's collusion? Everybody knows what is plagiarism? It's what? Copying somebody else's word and not either putting it in quotes or claiming it as your own. Okay, we'll talk about that in a bit. Second, cheating. Obviously, you know what that is. The big one that is going to be very tempting for you is collusion, because your quizzes are taken on your own time. Same with your exams. That's why you have a webcam and you will record your exams and upload them exactly the same way I am recording this class right now for posting on Integrity. Okay, that's the program we use. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay. Students with disabilities. If this applies to you, let me know. I need to form as soon as possible. Final grade appeal. If you wish to appeal final grade in the course, that shows you how to do it at that link. That link, you can get it from the Concourse website, which is available from the Glenn.edu website. Electronic devices. Cellular telephones, beepers, pagers will be turned off. You will not bring any laptops into class. I do not allow laptops in class, mainly because every single time that somebody has brought a laptop into class, they end up not using the laptop for its intended purposes. A couple of years back, I had a student who sat in the middle of the classroom and had a laptop up, and instead of watching or typing up notes, he was watching pornography. Okay? And, you think that's kind of dumb to begin with, but to make it worse, there's nothing but girls in the back of the room. So, he was really liked by them the rest of the semester. Yeah. Every time I walk by a classroom and I see a laptop up in somebody else's classroom, I discover that they're either on Facebook, they're either on Twitter, they're doing something other with Candy Crush, what have you, on whatever game is the popular one now for Facebook. All right? In this class, my goal is to prepare you for your next level of learning. Some of you that may be a sophomore level class. Some of you that may be a 4-year institution. It is important that you learn how to study this first semester. All right? What I have found works for me is that students, and this is what worked for me when I was in college, is students write out their notes on a piece of paper, take them home and type them into a computer. Save it as a file, and then the next day they're in class do the exact same thing. What that does is it takes what you've heard and listened to, you commit it to paper, and now you are reading again, reinforcing it, and then typing it into a computer. You are converting that short-term memory to long-term memory. So when it comes time for you to study for the exam, you have very nice, meticulous notes typed up, and you are ready to go. You'll find if you do this method that you will not need to study as long. Okay? So, you are not allowed to have laptops in class up. Also, cell phones. I realize that you think I'm an old buddy-duddy. Right? Alright? And I have no idea that when you are sitting in that seat with your laptop like this, not your laptop, your phone like this, and one hand typing out text messages, that I have no clue what you're doing. Believe you me, I do know what you're doing. Alright? I know you are texting, and you don't need to be doing it in my class. I promise you can avoid the addiction, and not do it for the 75 minutes that you devote to my class. It is possible. And besides, the number one way I can tell that you are texting in class is when you are actually looking at your crotch and laughing, something's wrong. Nobody looks at their crotch and laughs. All right? So no texting in class. You can avoid it, I promise you. Okay. Drop date. The last day to drop in the queue is April 11th. Then what you have is a schedule. Schedule of events for the semester, but that's for you to have. However, we're going to look at eCampus because there's a more detailed list. How many guys have ever used eCampus? Okay, good, because we're getting ready to go away from it to a new program next fall. It's a lot better this semester. It doesn't crash as much. eCampus is the virtual environment where you will be taking your exams. There will also be quizzes and any information you have for the course of the semester. Most important feature there is the calendar. Every assignment except for exams are already listed here with the due dates. The only reason that the exams are not listed is because I do not know when the first exam will be. Roughly every 3 weeks we will have an exam. That's about how we're going to go. So what will happen is as I am lecturing, we'll get to the end of a certain section and I'll say, okay, exam ends here. You now have, 3 days to take the exam. And you will be able to have those 3 days to take the exam. The exam is 100 questions, and it will be, you'll have 2 hours to take it. Okay? Yeah. Do it at home? Yeah. I'll show that to you. Okay. Now, last semester you used Lockdown Browser, didn't you? Access.
Yeah.
So
For the quizzes.
For the quizzes. Same thing this time. Okay. So here are your dates. All the dates for the course semester are due here, or when they are listed. So the calendar is very important for you to notice and do. Here's something that we need to talk about really quick, and that is a gym due date. Now, last couple of years, I used to offer what I called extra credit. Okay? And I discovered students did not do extra credit. For whatever reason, I could not get them to do extra credit. If nobody wants to do extra credit because it's extra, why should I do extra? I don't want to do extra, so I'm not going to do extra. Follow the logic there? So what happens is I decided, let's change it. Maybe if I change the name, students will do better on it. So I changed it from extra credit to grade enhancement module, or GEM. Okay? Whoa, I want to enhance my grade. I like that. I want to do that. I want to enhance my grade because I want it to get the best grade possible. And students do it like crazy. Crazy bizarre, yes, but it works. All right? Now, last semester, what did I do with my grade enhancement modules? When were they due?
The exam day.
They were due with the exams. However, I don't know when the exam's going to be. As a result, I have the date for the grade enhancement modules already set for this semester. Okay? Okay. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I apologize for those of you who have not had me before, that I am kind of directing some of my comments to former students and returning students, but I want to make sure also that they are on the same page because there are a lot of changes in last semester. Okay? All right. So, you have an essay. We'll talk more about that in a second. But this is where you need to go to find out where everything on the exam is. It's the lessons tab, and then every single section that you're going to be here in a second. I'm going to change this so you only see stuff here. Okay. All right. So when you go home today and you log in, the first thing you need to do is go to First Day Activities. You have a special browser that you need to download to take all the assignments. It's called Lockdown Browser. And what it will do is it will prevent you from opening up any of the quizzes unless you have it, quizzes or exams. Once you have that exam, once you have this program, you can open up the quiz and the exam, but you can't open up anything else. First semester that I used a webcam, I discovered in one of my internet classes, I discovered that my students were going back and they were opening up old exams and looking up the questions that I had asked previously and putting those answers there. Now that's not learning. Okay, that's knowing where to find the old questions. All right. So the lockdown browser prevents you from doing that. Also, the Integrity program will be listed here. You download it, and you will be able to get it to to open up. You will record your exams, just your exams, not your quiz. And then once you've done with that, take this setup quiz. It's very simple. You can't get it wrong. If you get it wrong, you have to do it again. But you shouldn't get it wrong. Basically, it has you go through the process of setting up an exam to record. Okay, that way, since you're setting up the exam to record, you know how to do it. So when the exam comes, you're not freaking out. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. All right. Records you in the exam. So I will see what you're looking at. Okay, and I will see you. So what happens? This is something that's becoming very. I'm doing it this way. My sister-in-law is taking classes at West Governor's University, that new one that Governor Perry just created in the last couple of years. And basically what they do is when they take a test online, she had government, and they have a webcam, and they pay a person to proctor her exams. So what happens is if she takes the exam, she has to take the webcam and scan the room to make sure there's nobody else in there with her. And then if there's another sound or something, they make her stop, scan the room again, and she had to take a test again because she made the mistake of taking the exam once without any makeup on, and apparently without her makeup, she looked substantially different than with her makeup. So they didn't recognize her; they thought it was somebody else. So, yeah. What? So here are, on the first exam, there are 4 chapters, okay? These are the first 4 that you will read. Everything that's going to be on the exam is here. First exam, all the information is here. That's it. Got it? Under Chapter 17, you have a whole bunch of resources that are available to you. You do not have to do any of them except for the Chapter 17 quiz. Okay? You are more than welcome to do it. They have some really neat things like vocabulary flashcards. Like, what's the Freedmen's Bureau? You put the name in, or you click for the answer to see what it is. It's Reconstruction Agency established in 1865 to protect the legal rights of former slaves and to assist with their education, jobs, health care, and land owners. Okay? John Wilkes Booth. Put the answer in there and see. All right? It's something that if you do, it will benefit you, but it is not required. You follow? The only thing you do have to do is the quiz. want to know exactly what you have to do, everything here in these milestones is what you have to do.
And the quizzes this semester are due, or when are they due? Like every week?
Yeah, they do it. Sometimes when we get close, exactly like last semester, you'll have more as you get farther on. You know, but by the time we get, we're doubling up because there's 17 chapters and there's 15 weeks of school. 2 weeks, you're going to have 2 chapters to read. Okay. By that time period, most everybody has completed the 10, and you have usual good grades. You know, because what happens is I'm only taking your top 10 quizzes. So if you have good grades in your first top 10, first 10 that you attempt, you will be fine. Okay? And if you choose not to do them, that's your choice. I don't recommend it because the final, which is going to be in here, it's not going to be online, it's going to be in here, is going to have some of those questions. Okay? Deadlines are here. All right. 4 chapters. Review 1. You download the review right here. It's 2 pages in length. This only covers the lecture. It's stuff we talk about in class. That's where you need to get the reviews from, the review information. But there are questions from the textbook as well that you need to go over. Now, it's very important as you do your reviews that you keep them. I can't tell you how many times students have thrown their reviews away after an exam, only to find out at the end of the semester that the 5th review sheet is 10 pages in length. Why is it 10 pages in length? Because the previous 4 have been 2 pages in length, which add up to 8 pages, and then the final is 2 pages, and that's 10 total pages. Final's comprehensive, so there you go. Okay, follow? Grade Enhancement Module 1. This is the thing that is due February 4th. This is your first 10 points that will go to an exam. It's courthouse. It is for you to research the history of your courthouse, be it here in Brazos County if you want to, or be it somewhere else, where your hometown is. If you are not from Texas, you are more than welcome to choose one. All right? Okay. Now, what will happen when it is ready to be submitted? Click right here, Gem 1 Dropbox, and it will be. You can submit it. It goes to Turnitin.com, which is a program that rates a paper on its authenticity and originality. What that means is, did you write it? Okay. Now, before anybody freaks out about that, let me explain to you. I use this as a tool to teach. My experience with the last 10 years of students is that you don't know, or you are not taught in high school how to write an original essay. Okay? What happens a lot of the time is that you copy and paste something from a website and you submit it, and the teacher either doesn't care or doesn't know that it is not something you wrote. Obviously, that is not acceptable in college. Okay? So what happens is you can write this paper and submit it, and you can submit it today. And then what happens is as soon as you submit it, or sometimes, depending on how busy the server is, it will take a while, and it will give you what's called a similarity index score. What that means is how similar is this to something on a website or another paper that has been submitted. If your paper receives a 30% or higher grade, that is too similar to another assignment. That means you need to rewrite it to get it under 30%. That's how I use it to teach. You can resubmit it and get it under 30% from now until the due date. And once the due date arrives, you can't submit it anymore. But you can submit it as many times as you want to refine it until you get it below that number. Very rarely does it actually flag somebody, but sometimes, I've had 99% before. This is somebody just lifted it. I especially love it when people lift something from the Handbook of Texas Online because it has these little footnotes in it. And they lift those out too, and that's the only place I've ever seen those footnotes. And so they put it in there, those little footnotes appear in the text. And like they will, come on, seriously? You're going to try to cheat, at least try to cheat well. Okay? If I want to nail somebody to the wall, I want to have an adventure with it. Okay? So that is, everybody understand how that works? Yes? Okay, good. Okay. Now, possible essays for essay one. Well, that is right. Okay. I give you 3 essays right now. They are available. These essays come from your reader. Abby, did you have your reader? This book. Okay. 3 times over the semester, you will be assigned reading from this book. Okay. They are listed now. The first one is Andrew Carnegie's Gospel of Wealth. The next is an article written by, I think this person, David Littlefield on the Wizard of Oz. It's a parable of populism. How many of you seen the Wizard of Oz? How many of you knew that it's a statement about the poor being poor and the rich being too rich? All right, good. Some of you have. Dorothy's original color shoes were silver. They were not ruby. Okay, because silver was seen as the way of getting people out of poverty. Well, we're going to look at that over the course of the semester because one of the important reasons why you study history is to learn from the mistakes of the past. Okay? And a lot of the mistakes that were made, unfortunately, in the 1870s, 1880s, and 1890s, we're making today, and nobody realizes it or they don't care. Okay? We'll talk about that. A lot of this history is economics. A lot of the history that we have right now in this class is economic history, which I used to think was boring as all get out, until I realized this is why we're so screwed up right now. Okay? This is why we're so screwed up. Economic history. Nobody understands that. So we have those 2, and then we have A Trumpet Note for Heroes, which is written by D. Brown. What will happen is when you are ready to take an exam, an essay, this essay will randomly choose 2 articles to ask you about. Okay? Of those 2, you will write upon one. You have 30 minutes to write upon one. Follow? Okay, so how many do you need to read?
2.
Why do you need to read 2?
Whichever one, the both that you choose, at least one of them will be
That's
on.
right. You read 2, whichever one you choose, if you're lucky, both of them will be asked. If you're unlucky, one of them will be asked. So what will happen is you will click on essay 1. It will randomly choose one of the 3 essays for you to write upon, and then you will write upon that. About 30 minutes, and it needs to be around 300 words. Okay? All right? What I recommend you do is write up 2 essays, have them ready to go, and then when it comes time for you to write your your essay, all you have to do is type it in. Now, somebody's going to say, well, wait, then I'll just cut and paste it. No, you will not. How do I know you will not? Because it is also locked down. It is locked down with the lockdown browser. You cannot open up anything else. All right? This is to make sure that you were the one writing it. Follow? Okay, good. So the first day for that is the 6th of February. Somebody asked in last class, hey, can I do them now? Sure, if you want to do them now. If you want to do all of them now, you can do all your essays right now.
Oh, they're not.
They're not going to be on the exam. They're not going to be on the exam. They are separate. They are separate. Okay? Follow? Okay. Well, I'm glad I was able to tailor it to your...
Yeah, my beautiful.
In my last class, there was very few students in there who knew me before, and they'll probably think I'm really mean, but her in this class is very difficult. All right, so you have your possible essays, you'll have your essays. Any questions about that? You want to know your grades. come to report, student grades, we're here to run, and everything that I have graded is there. Okay? Questions?
Does that do average?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you require that we cite in our essays what we read, or do you
No.
do that?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to, because the general thinking in that regard is I know where it's coming from. Now, if you want to, and I've seen some people do this, bring in outside work to help understand what you're talking about, then you need to. Okay? And if, in a situation like that, you can just say, I got this from here. That's basically what it's going to do is it's going to give you a text box. So you're not going to be able to do any formatting. Okay? Yes?
Does that do average on the online grades?
No, it does points.
Okay, so the points, like the overall percentage.
It should. Now here's the thing. This thing is sometimes like last semester, I had it perfectly figured out. I told my class, I have your final grades perfectly averaged. Okay? I did not do anything to the system. I came back on Monday, and it was like, instead of 600 points, it was like 2,020. No idea where it came from. If you have a question, the syllabus is the final determinant. Okay? What says here is what you will get. Okay? Question?
So everything that's due is on that calendar.
Yes. Except the exams, because I don't know when they are yet.
You'll tell us.
Oh, well, I'll say, okay, we're about a week out from the testing period. All right, so you can start studying. All right? And then what I'll do is I'll know probably the day before, the class before I run out of material, and I'll say class ends here. The lecture ends here, and then we'll move on. Okay? Good? Questions? done, pass it up.
Okay.
Ready to have everybody's? All right. Let's see who we got here.
Oh my God. You're not about
I
to do
wasn't
this.
expecting that.
What? Leslie Rice.
Oh, God.
You read Texasville?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because I read the last thing.
Why?
You like it?
Oh, yeah. I'm not all the way completely with it. I watched like the beat. Kind of ruined the end of Texasville, but
Yeah.
I'm still working on that.
Good for you. Grant? Rubon? Revenge? Raboon. Okay, gotcha. All right, so you like listening to music, sleeping, hanging out with friends. Okay. Read Dr. Seuss to your cousin. Was it good? Awesome. Which one was it? Cat in the Hat. Classic. Zachary Brown. Zachary, how are you? Good. I'm not going to ask how old you are since you quit drinking down there. But I assume you're 21. Especially since the last non-textbook you read was the Bible. Really good.
Oh my God.
What? I know you got some Baptists in here, so watch out. They have a different definition of it. Asdrid. It's not textbook you read with Will Grayson. Will Grayson. Okay. It's about Will Grayson.
No, well, yeah. Basically, he means like another Will Grayson.
Another what?
Another guy named Will Grayson. It's pretty interesting. Kind of short.
Megan Welch. Why did you read The Great Gatsby? Because I talked so much about it last semester? No.
Because I
You wanted
haven't seen. No, because I haven't seen the movie yet, so I wanted to read it and then see it.
Okay. Well, The Great Gatsby is an awesome book. I really like it. You like it?
I'm not done with it yet.
You're not done with it. It's a great. See, if I had my choice, I would offer an English class of American Lit 1 and 2 that would be coupled with History 1301 and 1302, because the literature that is written at the time period reveals what is going on in society at the time. Like Great Gatsby. Have you guys ever read Great Gatsby? Who saw Great Gatsby? Okay. When is it about? It's the 20s. When there's so much money, so much wealth, just opulence, and what? Flappers. And yet there is this emptiness in society. They have everything, but they don't have anything. You know what I'm saying? It's really good. Alondra Rodriguez. Alondra in the back. Okay. Last non-textbook you read was last year. I haven't heard of it. Is it good? Okay. Megan Holtz. Hi, Megan. Going to Sam Houston. Awesome. Even with cats. Despicable Me 2 was your favorite, the last movie you saw?
Yeah.
My oldest daughter, is for some reason is dressing like what's the Edith, the middle girl? She's dressing like that. Am I right? Have you seen Hannah dressing recently? Do you like go into school today with braids and like that little beanie cap on? 14. Ashlyn Jennings. Hey, Ashlyn. Paranormal activity. Hunter Houseman, where are you at? Hunter, okay. You met the houseman that works here?
No, I haven't.
Know any other housemans? He has 2 S's. No, 2 S's? Yeah, in his houseman. He's a good friend of mine. World War Z, the last non-textbook you read. Have you seen the book? I mean, the movie?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
No, it's not. I haven't even. The book was really good. I liked it. Morgan, help me out. Is it Hans or House? Hans. Okay, Morgan. Lord of the Rings, last book you read. Alyssa Benz. Hey, Alyssa. I'm not going to talk to you about the textbook you read, the last book you read, because you don't need to know that. Silver Lining.
Yeah.
Okay. Silver Lining Playbook isn't what it's called, is it? Or is it something else?
No, it is like that.
Let's see. So, Alyssa Clark. Oh my gosh, 2 Alyssas right next to each other. One semester I had in the front row a Brandon, and then a Braden. And every time they talked to each other, they said, "Hey, Brandon," and I just turned around. Alyssa Clark, Lone Survivor. Did you like it? Allied Health. What are you going to do with that? Nursing. Haley Burton. Haley. Where are you from?
Plano.
And are you going to A&M right now? No. Sergio Gomez. Catching Fire. The book was better. I haven't seen the movie, and I'm sure the book was better. Can't say that about the third movie. The third book's not out yet in the movie, but I can't see why they even do it. The third book is screwed up. Tyler LeBlanc. Hi, Tyler. How are you? Good. Saw The Wolf of Wall Street. Did you like it? Yeah. It's kind of like a modern day Gatsby. Seems like, except a lot more nudity than one. Stephen Sanders. Stephen, how are you doing? Bible too, you guys. Saw Frozen. Did you like it? Did you go see it by yourself? Okay, you're not one of those guys who goes to Disney by themselves, are you? So they actually have people that go and watch for guys who are by themselves at Disney. I did not know that.
What?
At Disney World.
Why?
I don't know.
Sometimes you just want to go and by yourself and like enjoy it.
A guy by himself. Okay, a girl, yes. A guy, no.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I
And then
do.
we'll have a beer and watch this one.
Lindsay Medina. Hey, how are you? Catching Fire had an upsetting ending just because of the way it ended. Haven't you read the book?
The book only ended the same way.
No, just don't read the books. Anna Evans. Anna. Okay. Uh-oh, we're going to have to talk. You like Terry Goodkind? That's the second book, right? Holy cow. He starts getting political, and I agree with his politics, but he's just Abby Gilliland. You went to Santa's Wonderland? Like Frozen. Amanda. You work at a clothing store in Brenham?
Yeah.
Do you live in Brenham?
No, but she lives in Gatsby and stuff, and she really likes it.
Because there's nobody in Brenham that could. That's 45 miles away.
Yeah, but she really likes it. She told me like it. It's a open street.
It's on the square?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alberto. Last movie you saw was Pearl Harbor. You didn't watch it completely. No, Pearl Harbor is great for the hour in which Ben Affleck is dead. But when he comes back, it's just terrible. It's a 3-hour movie with 1 hour of being good. Lauren Vanderford. Lauren, how are you? Anchorman 2, and I have not laughed that hard in a long time. Everybody said it wasn't that good, but it was fantastic.
I like when he was like, I'm blind. That part was so.
Murphy Blair. Zach, okay. The Hobbit was the last book you read? Or last movie you saw? The latest version?
Yeah,
Have you read the
I saw
book?
last night.
Oh, you saw it last night. Have you read the book?
Yeah.
When I saw it, this guy in the back when it ends goes, "What? That's it?" I'm like, dude, there's like 20 pages left in the book. You're going to make another 3-hour movie over 20 pages in the book. Chelsea McRae. How are you, Chelsea? Houston. Candy Wagner. Where? Oh, Candace Wagner, I'm sorry. Last book you saw was Twilight, Into the Wild. Book. Go on. Okay, well. Maria Martinez. Hi, Maria. Thor 2 is you're not a fan. It's a Bible study. Isn't it? Taylor Wars. Right there. So you're big into horses, are you? Cool. So you're going to go to A&M, or are you going to try to get on the equestrian team, or are you no? Not that aspect of it?
I do something different. Like I show horses and
Okay.
stuff,
Okay.
but not
Like dressage and stuff?
No, dressage. No, they do dressage.
That's all I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So you know what you know about it.
they have reining, but I just do a different. It's like AQHA rating.
Like what?
AQHA rating.
Okay.
It's a different association.
So, Tanya Jackson, is that right? Antonia? Antonia. Sleepy Hollow. You play, okay, for a girl, this is what her hobbies are. Watch cartoons, play Call of Duty. It's like shooting people, do you? What? Is it like which one? Just all of them? Or like on the new Ghost on the Xbox One and that stuff? You got one? My boys keep asking me when we're going to get an Xbox One, and I'm like, when they go down about $400. Merrill Parks. Okay. Do you want to build a snowman? My 3-year-old listens to the Frozen soundtrack every day. It is. It's really good. And I like it when she'll come up to you and she goes, do you want to build a snowman? And your response is, what you have to say is, go away, Anna. And she'll go, okay, bye. But if you don't, she'll go, do you want to build a snowman? So you say, go away, Anna. It's hard when you're 3 not to understand that you go watch a movie in the theater and it's not immediately on Daddy's phone. You know, give me your phone. I watch it. Yes, Jennifer King. Word. Gone with the Wind. Fantastic. Political science. What are you going to do with that? What? Spencer Oaks. I think you're up front, aren't you? Longview. Wolf on Wall Street was awkward, yes, but
That was my parents.
oh!
I mean, I would like it if I wasn't on my parents.
Yeah, but
It was,
yeah,
it was pretty rough.
that's not good.
Wait, you're from Washington?
I mean, you could say when I was like in high school, but
You've lived here since you were 2. Abby goes to my church. I've known her forever, so I get to pick on her. Ashlyn Phillips. Hi, Ashlyn. Harry Potter 7. Despicable. Last textbook. Not Despicable Me Too. You like it? Cool. Seth Johnson. Okay, Seth. Lone Survivor. Is it good?
yeah.
Is it supposed to be fairly accurate?
They said in the book,
Yeah.
it didn't end like it did in the movie.
Did you read the book?
I watched it.
Okay. Because the reason I'm asking is, I've got, my movie review. I do a movie review, and I'm probably going to put that one on there. I think the other one I came up with was The Butler. I couldn't remember that. I put The Book Thief on. I do a movie review. That's your 4th grade enhancement module where you can review a movie and get upwards of, you get 10 points on it on your extra credit for it. So if you want to do Lone Survivor, go ahead and do that. That's fine. We'll put it on. If any of you saw that, that's a good movie for you to do. You can submit it now if you want to do it. All right. So you know a little bit me. I know a little bit about you. I'm going to come to know you a little bit more over the course of the semester. But we're going to go ahead and get started with the lecture now. We've got about 15 minutes before class ends, and we are always under pressure to make sure you're here until the last minute. So I'm going to lay the background of what we're talking about here. Okay? I want you to understand that when the Civil War started, the predominant thinking at the time was that slavery was wrong, that it was evil. It was considered the evil institution. The problem is that the economy of the South and the shipping of the North that depended on the South depended on an evil institution, that of slavery. So it was understood that slavery was wrong, that it was immoral, but the problem is in order to do away with slavery, you would have to destroy the social, political, and economics of an entire region, that being the South. And since it is all interconnected, you would lose some of the North's capability as well. So when the Civil War started, it was not about slavery. Okay? Do you understand that? You had me last semester, I was very clear about how the whole slavery issue was a can that kept being kicked down the road. Further generations would deal with it until we get to the Civil War, and it can't be dealt with anymore. Slavery is ended in the South, the conquered territories of the South, when Abraham Lincoln issues the Emancipation Proclamation. The Emancipation Proclamation states, and this is all stuff you've had before, you've had 1301, states that in conquered territories, slavery doesn't exist. So when the South was defeated, it was treated as a conquered territory. And because the president, as commander-in-chief, had different powers over conquered territories than he did states, he had the authority to say that in those territories slavery was abolished. The president cannot say slavery is abolished in the United States. No, he does not have that authority. But on conquered territories, he could. Okay? This was made as a reason to keep, or this was done to keep England and France from recognizing the South, the Confederacy of the United States. And by doing so, kept them out of the Civil War. All right? Kept it a purely internal matter. So when the Civil War ends, and the Confederacy is defeated, we enter a new time period. And that is called Reconstruction, because it is now up to the victorious North to decide how to reconstruct the South. All right? If something is being reconstructed, it is being built anew. And that is what is going to happen. A new society is going to be built. One of the first most pressing issues is what to do with the captured Confederate leaders. When Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, is captured in late April in Georgia, he is brought back in chains to Washington, D.C. Many people wanted to hang him for his crimes against the North. Eventually, he would get out on bail, and he would never be brought to trial. Only one person is going to be charged with war crimes. It is Major Henry Wirz, W-I-R-Z. Henry Wirz is tried, convicted, and executed for war crimes. What this means is he did something that violated the rules of war. And one of the major rules of war when dealing with captured prisoners is that they, as prisoners of war, is that they be treated as humanely as possible. Henry Wirz was the commander of a Confederate prisoner of war camp in Andersonville, Georgia. Under his leadership, 45,000 Yankee soldiers died either of starvation, being out in the elements, or lack of sanitary conditions. 45,000 died. He would be tried, convicted, and executed. He's the only person to be convicted of war crimes. The South itself is destroyed. Because of the nature of the Civil War and the way it was waged, it was decided by the Confederacy to wage a defensive war. Let the Union invade them. It's easier to defend than it is to attack. It takes less men to defend than it does to attack, and the South was numerically inferior to the South was numerically inferior to the South. In fact, that's what defeats the South, the fact that Ulysses S. Grant is willing to continue to pound the South with as many men as it takes to defeat them. Experiences substantially heavier casualties than what the South takes. But he has more men to draw upon. Major cities of Charleston, Memphis, Vicksburg, and Atlanta are destroyed. Economic centers are destroyed.
Oh, what were the cities?
What?
What were the cities?
Charleston, Atlanta, Memphis. I just named it. What was it? Oh. And if you remember from your maps that you saw in 1301, most of the Civil War was fought between a 100-mile stretch between Washington, D.C. and Richmond, Virginia. All that land is destroyed. Now, what's the problem there? What is the South's greatest method of income? How do they get, what type of economy are they? Are they an industrial, agrarian, or shipping? What? Agrarian society. That means they do what? They grow. Right? What do they grow? Well, since the early 1800s, the primary thing that they grew was cotton. Cotton is exceptionally labor-intensive. You plant the cotton, and has anybody ever picked cotton? I did. I have. It's fun. It's got a seed in it that has all these thorns in it. And when you pull it out, your thumbs are going to get bloody, and it's very difficult to do. However, thanks to the invention of the cotton gin in 1793, you put the cotton in here, that's just picked, you turn a crank, cotton pops out, the seeds go to the bottom of this hopper, and you're done. It revolutionized cotton. And as a result, it becomes very profitable. Because it is so profitable, it is seen that cotton is the number one way to make money in the South. As a result, any talk of industrialization, the creation of factories, is considered unacceptable. It's considered a lesser lifestyle. In fact, when the Civil War erupts, there was only one factory in the South. Now, another thing prevents the South from having all these factories, or having factories, I should say, and that is the way they are powered. The first generation of factories in the United States are powered by water. In order to have a water-powered loom or a water-powered factory, water-powered anything, you need to have fast-moving rivers. And you do not have fast-moving rivers in low, flat prairies. You have fast-moving rivers in hilly, mountainous terrain. As a result, the North is going to have more industries pop up than in the South. Even if you were able to market, you were able to plant, harvest, and prepare goods for shipping to market, the way you were going to get items to market was probably a train. The problem is, during the Civil War, the Union destroyed every railroad they came across. How many guys have ever stood on a railroad? Anybody ever stood on a railroad? I highly recommend you do. It's fun. Don't do it when a train's coming. But if you've ever stood on a railroad, you can look at it and hopefully you have appreciated the simplicity of the design. It's very easy. You have the railroad rail, and you have two of them. It sits on a metal plate, and that metal plate is then in turn nailed to a big piece of wood. That's it. It's not very hard to destroy them. So when Sherman's forces invaded the South on his march to the sea in 1864, they would just pick up the rails and they'd pull them up and then go throw them to the side. Well, if it's simple to destroy, it's simple to repair. All you have to do, once his men are gone, you come back and you put the stuff back there and you can hammer it back and you're done.
What
did they do, Astrid?
So they would like bend it and stuff.
Right.
So
How do you bend it? It's not like,
well, no. I think they like heated it or
That's
something.
right. What they would do is they take the rails and they put the rails in the middle of their campfire. The iron in the rails would heat, and what happens with iron when it heats?
Bendable.
It warps. And what happens is one guy would come over here and one guy would come over here and they'd walk towards each other. And a rail that looks like this would be up like a curlicue. Now the problem with that is there's no fixing that. It has to be melted back down, and then recast. Something the South doesn't have to do. It helped them win the war, but it's going to be terrible for reconstruction. All right? So the railroads that are existing in the South or exist in the South are pretty much destroyed. All right. Well, that's where we'll end for today. Gave you a pretty good background of what we're looking at. Remember, you need to have chapter 17 read by the time you come into class, and you need to have chapter 17 also, the quiz taken, before you come into class on Thursday. Got it?
Are all of your slideshows up on eCampus?
Yes, ma'am.